Hello, this video will explain how to use the EMR to ensure that provider panels are accurately uploaded to CPAR. It is suggested that a clinic start by reviewing the panel readiness checklist shown here and linked to in the notes below. This checklist outlines the panel processes that a clinic should have in place before signing up for CII CPAR. Please review the checklist in its entirety, as this video will only cover the conditions that must be in place in your EMR for a patient to flow to CPAR. So what needs to be in place in the EMR for a patient to be on a CPAR panel? Well, let's go to the EMR and take a look. So once we're in the EMR, we will want to open the patient's window. In this window, a number of conditions must be met for a patient to flow to CPAR. First, you will want to ensure that each paneled patient has a sex recorded in the sex field shown here. You will also want to make sure that they have a provincial health number, or PHN, recorded in the Health Card Prov HN field shown here. And in this field, you will need both the issuing province as well as the PHN here. Each patient must also have their primary provider's name in the patient MD/NP field. In this case, we see that Barbara McCaffrey is listed as the patient's primary provider. This is correct because both the patient and Dr. McCaffrey have confirmed that Dr. McCaffrey is in fact the patient's primary provider. The next condition that must be met for a patient to flow to CPAR is that they must be assigned an active status. In PS Suite, this means that the patient status field in the patient's window has active in the field next to it. The next condition is that there must be a date recorded in the data last verified field. If there is no date here, or you want to change the date here, you can do so by clicking Edit and then typing the date in here. You can then press Save, and the date will save here. The patient must also have a last visit date. To see if a patient has a last visit date from this window, we can go to View and then click Appointments. If no appointments are listed under this view, then the patient will not upload to CPAR. Lastly, the Exclude from CPAR panel checkbox shown here should not be checked off in the patient's window. Once you have confirmed that your clinic is consistently meeting all of the above conditions for their paneled patients, you will want to run a list of for each provider. You can do this by using a custom-built PS Suite search built specifically for running lists of CPAR paneled patients. To obtain this search, your clinic must contact the PS Suite support team, who will then install it in your EMR. Once it is installed in your EMR, you can access the report by going to Reports up here and then clicking Custom Queries, and it will show up in this list down here. Now, when you first install the report, you can name it whatever you want. And whatever you name it, that's the name that will appear here. In this case, we have called it the CII CPAR Panel Report. When you click on the query, it will automatically generate a list of the active patients in your clinic. To filter and sort the list, you can click on Report up here, Utilities, and Save as Tab Delimited. This will save the report on your computer. And to learn how to use the saved report in Excel, Office Libre, or OpenOffice, please refer to the Spreadsheet Basics for Reformatting Panel Conflict Reports YouTube videos linked to in the notes below. Once you have uploaded this list in Excel, OpenOffice, or Office Libre, you can use it to verify that the paneled patients in your clinic you would like to send to CPAR have the following conditions met in their chart. First, they have a valid PHN recorded. We also want to make sure that they have a primary provider confirmed and reported in the patient's MD-NP field. And that will appear here in these columns in this report. We also want to make sure that the patients have a data last verified date entered. They have a last visit date, and the exclude from CPAR panel checkbox is left unchecked in this column here. So now let's go back to our presentation. So after your first CPAR panel upload, you will want to run the custom query that we just looked at again to compare the panel numbers in your EMR to the panel numbers that you obtain in the CPAR application. If the numbers differ, you'll want to investigate why and address any issues identified. Remember that your AMA consultant, PCN practice facilitator, and eHealth support services team can help. It is also important to continue comparing the CPAR panel numbers to your EMR panel numbers with each new monthly upload and address any discrepancies as needed. It is further important to ensure that your clinic regularly revisits the panel readiness checklist to ensure that you are maintaining accurate panels in your EMR. Hopefully this video has provided you with the information you need to ensure your panels upload correctly to CPAR. Additional information can also be found in the PS Suite CII CPAR Guide and Panel Readiness Checklist on the ACT website and linked to in the notes below.